I hate you. You crazy mother.
Welcome to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, craft brews and geek news. Sit back, pour yourself a pint, and let's get into it. Now here's the founder of the Brewmasters Club and your host, Donnie Gallagher.
Hey, this is Donnie here with the Brewmasters Club podcast, craft brews and geek news. I'm here with Ryan.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And we are Ubering our way to the brewery, Craft Life Brewing. We are here with a great friend here driving us.
Hi guys, how you doing? No, hey, what's up guys?
Maybe I should be driving, I'm not sure, but
Uber driver. Yeah.
There we go, perfect. Well, we're just going to say stay tuned on our way here. We trust that we will get here safely. If we don't, just blame the gentleman that you heard a few minutes ago.
I make no promises.
Good, we'll stay tuned. We'll talk to you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that work?
I hate it. Fucking Cowboys. My best friend, he's a diehard Cowboy fan. Growing up, I was a diehard Yankee fan. He was a diehard Met fan. And he loves the Beatles. I hate the Beatles. And I'm like, how the fuck are we best friends?
Like,
I go both ways, man.
hey, nothing wrong. Wait.
When you're not Ubering, what are you doing, man?
I work,
Very cool.
Nice.
A lot of money in that.
Right onto Lando.
yes,
Next blue
especially when
line.
It's all together.
You guys seem cool. I'm actually a lifelong dominant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I have a nice little stable of subs. That,
Is that who's going to be calling you this evening?
Miles.
Very good.
Turn left onto State Route.
You sound like you had a great evening ahead of you. So you're just doing this on your on and off time, I guess?
Well, she's a new one. Well, I do that just for fun, you know. This helps pay for the mortgage since the divorce, you know. So.
Was the divorce part of the dominant, submissive? No. Okay. It is on your left-hand side, probably about a half mile, quarter mile, I don't know.
Is it tucked away in that?
Well, that's a cool lifestyle, though. I mean,
Behind
it's
the
got to be
McDonald's
interesting. No, it's before the McDonald's.
Ah, okay.
It's actually very interesting. Not for everybody, however.
Just something you kind of fell into, or is something you just discovered you liked as you got an adult and realized that you liked more interesting porno?
No, actually in New York, before the internet, I owned and operated the largest fetish video company in the North America, if not the world.
Very interesting.
Wow. And I had a nice little mailing list of customers who were like lawyers and doctors and all that fun stuff, charging $100 a video for VHS, again, before internet.
It's awesome, man. It's like, cam girls can make a ton of money, and that was, I guess, interim between then and now.
What's funny is all the videos I sold, you making $100 a video back then, this is the early 90s, now you can get for free online.
Yeah, right. I guess that is a bit of irony to that. The brewery's right there, but we have to do it. Yeah, you can do a U-turn here, actually, if you can. Again, ignoring Waze. I'm sorry, I'm a big advocate for believing Waze.
Well, actually, it told me to go to 54, to be honest with you.
Really?
Well, I
I didn't
think
know about this little cut here.
She's trying to make some money
Want
out
me
of
to
this, that's why.
Make a U-turn?
Yeah, make a U-turn if you can.
Please.
That's the brewery.
Little craft brewery?
Yeah, Craft Life. If you haven't, are you a craft beer friend?
You've
No,
arrived at your
I am fucked up
destination.
enough. I don't need stimulants.
Fair enough.
Well, good for you, I think.
I'm a published author. I'm a licensed minister, radio broadcaster,
Fetish guy.
professional dominant.
Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah.
Well, I would say you're the man. After what can only be described as an interesting Uber ride, Ryan and I took a few minutes to sit down and really understand what this brewery was all about. So we decided to speak with Terry and some of the owners from the brewery and find out really what is Craft Life Brewing all about.
It was Sam's Tavern for a long time.
Nice little homage.
And then he got dementia. So he told my mom, says, I'm not giving up my bar, we're gonna move back to Land Lakes. So my mom got really ill. That was '07. And he went in the nursing home and she got ill and passed that year. And I started leasing out the bar because I couldn't take care of everything. I'm a single mom, 10-year-old boy, trying to take care of them, take care of my son, you know. I couldn't do it all, so I started leasing it out. So it'd been empty, and I
Yeah,
had it
for a
on the
while.
market, and so I
Sure.
was asked. So that's when I approached him about doing a business venture together.
Why
so
not?
Has this been one of the best things that you guys have had happen to this place since when you're
Oh
dad?
yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
So
definitely.
just the-
'Cause
I
you
mean,
don't
it was
like
always
it,
just a
they
little
come-
hole in the wall
Well,
tavern before,
but
you know.
everybody loves
But
that.
now it's a
Now
whole
the
wall
craft
brewery.
beer
It's great.
is different. Yeah,
it's just
totally
a different
different.
sort of aura about it, different sort of family community and everything
Right.
like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It brings
That's what
new
we're all
life back
about.
to
It's,
everything.
we always try to just promote the little guy because that's what we are. We're just a little radio show, a little podcast, a little business, but that's what we do. So we're happy to be here, and we can't wait to try what you guys got.
Well,
Absolutely.
good. I
Let's
can't
do
wait
it.
for you to try either.
Yeah,
to
let's
see
try
the system. It is what they call a one kettle. I think you can do about 30 gallons in that.
So here's the barley. What we were talking about, see the different color, how they say
Yeah.
caramel.
Right.
It's lighter.
Lighter and darker.
So you've got your lighter ales, your like IPA style. You have your honey malt, chocolate malt, which is your stout and stuff like that.
Okay.
A lot darker. Black, of course, which is much darker. You can kind of see it right here. But it's a very small system. But Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, can operate this with one man, right?
Right.
One guy can do this whole system,
Right.
which is
He's
great.
got it's got a little remote.
Yeah, a little dolly.
So
yeah.
that it pulls the basket up and then brings the basket
Can we look inside?
over. Yeah.
So you see what I'm talking about? You mash all your ingredients in here, then when you want to go to pull it out, you pull all the ingredients
your
out.
mash comes
So
up in
all
here.
of it comes up. The mash
Everything that you add in, the barley, everything else, it all
comes up, and then it leaves the wort,
Ah,
Right.
right? That's
And then that's what he lets us sit there and drain off some over and then pull it out, and then we dump that.
and he pours it out, and where does he put it? They come in little reservoirs.
Well, the liquid will then get transferred into the fermenters.
beautiful.
Very cool.
And
you
these
see,
are the fermentation room here.
and you've got the little CO2 gauge there that let the gas escape without letting air inside. See those water on both sides of the dual chambers?
Yeah.
And it's AC because this needs to stay like 68 degrees. So
Okay.
it doesn't have to be cold,
Just
but it
room
can be
temperature.
a little bit
Cellar-
lower.
cellar
A
temperature.
little bit, yeah.
So how many do you have in
68.
here?
Should be about 6.
And how many are ready to go, or what are the stages, or do they all mark different?
That I would have to get with Jim on because it all depends. He brews like 3 days a week.
Right.
2 to 3 days a week. Basically Monday, Tuesday, and possibly Wednesday he brews.
And I remember, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
So-
how many beers will this ultimately end up yielding from
This would be 2
small-
kegs, pretty
2
much.
kegs. That's a lot.
It depends
of
on how much, like you can see he's got more in
Yeah.
this one. But if we have 30 gallons in here, that's 2 kegs. So sometimes he might not get a full 2 kegs, he might get a keg and a 5 or something like that, which because a keg is 15 gallons.
And the way Tim was explaining is
So-
that once we tapped one of the beers that you guys create, you ask the bar to say, what do you want to have next, right? And then we say, oh, we'll have a red or we'll have a brown or whatever, and he pulls that out at the next stage, which is the walk-in, right?
Right, well, it's got the fermentation
Of course.
takes a while.
But you have a
So-
couple in the holster ready to go, right?
Should.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
See? There they
Okay,
are.
yeah, those are the ones that I saw, yeah.
Right, but see the AC, it's just one of those
Wall units.
room air conditioners,
Okay.
portable.
So it keeps that one really
And he
cold.
had it-
But when it's this small batches, it's tough because that's a big hit.
Yeah.
Right. So,
So-
we're a little bit behind, so where we're at on stages, but there's some that we have done, and some are very ready to come out. Some are still fermenting, and
So you
that's
keep
his deal.
you keep the malt here that's not or it's been ready to use, and then he kind of negotiates work and all sorts of other stuff in the brewery here. And then is there one more stage? Can you show us the cooler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is the cooler.
This is the newest walk-in cooler that we got, so that we can put more taps.
These are all from
Those
other-
are mostly all his. I mean, these are mostly all guest beers. Here, that's
Yeah.
the only one right now. Ours over here.
Okay.
The majority of ours are on that side right now.
Gotcha.
We're looking at the more beers we get on, the more we're going to be taking over more of the taps.
That's
So-
right.
Well, and
I want to try the sampler, so we'll
Right.
start with that.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, it's out of convenience.
This is
You
a
know?
hot bag right here. Can I go ahead and pick this up? And
Yeah, those are the hops. There's
a
a lot
bag
of the
of
hops
hops.
right there.
very nice.
You can see that. So these are these specific type in a specific region, breed specific flavor, all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
That's very neat.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
You were talking about it being a smaller sort of, craft brewery and stuff like that. And that's awesome because it's, like we said, more communal. But I've worked in a busy, fast-paced, Irish pub.
I worked for
Love it.
Budweiser.
You worked for Budweiser. We all love a busy crowd, but
Yeah.
when you want to just relax and feel like
You're a part of something.
you're a part of something, and when you're at home and you have maybe 20 friends over or something like that, you can all get to know each other, and it's not like a nightclub or something like
Right.
that where you're gonna go down and dance the night away. I mean, you can do that if you want to, but it's just nice to be a little more cozy, a little more surrounded, more family oriented, I guess.
Well, family oriented for a brewery, I don't know how that really flows. But the key that I'm trying to get at is that like how interesting it is. We were just talking about all this kind of stuff in our last cast and the cast before that about the community factor. So the community factor. What did Land O'Lakes have besides cheap property taxes, attentive community officers because we're not Hillsborough County, and whatnot.
Yeah.
We've got things like this.
Close to the
Community.
county line, by the way.
I mean, we are like a stone's throw from the county line, but it's pretty amazing to see how a community like this, kind of wraps around itself.
Absolutely.
So even though this is small and quaint and cozy, I would love to see where this place goes because I think the product that I've had was pretty good, and the people clearly love it.
Well, we're about to try that product right now, so looking forward to trying
The pumpkin
that.
is what I want to try.
Which one is the pumpkin here, or is
They
that
don't have
one?
a tap.
Okay.
It's over there.
We'll get that.
Can
on
we
the
still
next-
try it?
We'll get that
Yeah,
on
we'll
the
try
next
it.
flight. So we've got the Island Core Red, and I love a red ale. Any place that I go, I always match it up to a little Irish pub called the Maloney's Red, which is a great, fantastic red. So we'll definitely see how that pairs up. But what about you, Donnie? How do you like your reds?
I love reds. The thing about reds is that typically they're maltier, and I don't necessarily like a sweeter malty beer. I like the hoppy, I like the IPA, the APA stuff. So I'm interested to try it. But go ahead, you try it first.
All right, we'll get that going.
While you're trying it, one of my favorite reds. I mean, remember Killian's? I mean, Killian's is like a staple, but it's also like on every shelf in every gas station.
Well, and it's very inexpensive when you go to Otsco bars.
What'd you think about that?
It hits you real nice. It hits you real clean. Like normally there's a tinsely kind of texture to it. Like when you take that Killian's, it's a little more darker, like you said, maltier taste to it. They really smooth out that malt, in my opinion.
It's still got the smoky. It's got the almost not chocolate, but it's like a nougat. It's like a caramel kind of flavor.
A little
to
bit.
it. Yeah.
What do you think? It kind of smooths out though a little bit. For a red, still has that bite.
It's very drinkable.
It's very drinkable. You probably get a lot of trouble with that one.
So what's the next one we got?
All right, next one we have here is a Gulf Coast APA. Excuse me, as I said, they're out. It's got a nice golden tan color to it. So let's go ahead.
Now APAs. When I think of APAs, I think of Tampa Bay Brewing Co.'s Reef Donkey APA, which is an amazing beer. I love the APA. It's drinkable. It tastes like an IPA, but it's not, and it's an American, so it's very good.
Very
What do you
true.
think?
I thought it. Again, I'm impressed. You definitely have that hop to it. A little bitter.
Smooth though.
Very smooth.
It's not very bitter. It's
Not
very
high
smooth.
on the IBU count. I wonder, does it matter how much hop you actually put into a beer?
Absolutely. The amount of hops, it does matter.
But my point there too is a lot of like what we're using here for this place, they're using the pellet hop. Does that make any difference in the brewing process as opposed to using an actual butted hop?
So if you ask a brewer, they'll say yes. It's just like saying, do you want to use natural ingredients or do you want to use processed ingredients? I mean, yes, there's a factor because you take the natural hop, you shred it, you condense it, you pack it, you pellet it, and then you put it into bags and then you package it out that way. Opposed to like my brewing kit that I had back in the house, those were natural hops on the full leafed hops, stuck into a plastic bag, vacuum sealed, and sent out to consumers. So is there a freshness factor? Possibly. But at the end of the day, I mean, just like anything else, do you want processed milk or do you want milk from the cow's udder? I mean, like, what do you're paying for convenience, sure.
Well, that's true.
But when you're in an operation like this, you've got to think, yeah, we can go ahead and get all the organic, natural hops in their floral setting, sure. But might that incur a little bit more expense to the consumer? So your $5 beer turns into an $8 beer.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about Cigar City and all these other breweries that
Trying
are
to
doing
compete.
that.
Yep.
Correct. So the flavor, yes, I'm sure that there's a small percentage. It also equates back to like pasteurized milk or pasteurized anything. Beer, pasteurization takes into a significant effect on the flavor of it. And I don't know if you know this degree of how that works. So you know how people talk about canned beer, bottled beer, keg beer, what's better? So that leads back into the pasteurization statement. So you've heard the argument of canned beer, bottled beer, keg beer. What tastes better to you?
I prefer a keg beer, but that's just my
Why?
opinion.
Feels like a draft beer?
Yeah, it feels smoother. Well, you still pour it into a glass 90% of the time if you're at the right place. But then again, I think about when you have a Coke out of a Coke bottle, it always tastes better out of a Coke bottle than it does a can. So, there's probably a little bit of a difference. I'd have to go back and actually check that out.
So the actual science behind that is that you have canned beer and bottled beer, which are both pasteurized. There's no difference at all. And both cans and bottles are sterilized and all this kind of stuff, so that there is no flavor difference, because the only thing that would change the difference in flavor is the impurities that are in the bottle or can. Now the difference becomes canned, bottled, and then keg beer. Keg beer is not pasteurized, because keg beer has a shelf life of 90 days, while a can or a bottle has 180 to 300 days.
Almost double.
Triple in some instances. So a keg beer not being pasteurized will taste different than a bottled or canned beer because it is pasteurized.
Interesting.
Now, do you understand what pasteurization means?
Oh, what does it mean?
So pasteurization is the process of taking a beer. You know, you buy beer that's cold and you buy beer that's warm on the shelf. So there's no difference in that beer, but the beer itself can handle either being refrigerated or not being refrigerated. That's pasteurization. Just like what keeps milk longer is pasteurization. Pasteurization, which you'll see in the Cigar City Brewery, conversely to this brewery, is that there's no pasteurization going on, because the beer is made there, and by the time it hits here, it's sold. And if it's not sold in 90 days, it's bad. Pasteurization basically takes your beer, when you put it in a can or a bottle, you seal it, they take it through a warm water washer, which basically brings the temperature of the beer up to about 100 degrees, and then it cools it back down to, say, 60 degrees. That process is pasteurization. What that does is that prepares the beer. It basically solidifies the flavor in it for another. It gives it the shelf life like you would put meat in a refrigerator, as opposed to having meat there on the table. Okay. So that's pasteurization. It just basically gets warmed up, then cooled off, and ready for either shelf or fridge storage. So there is a difference between canned, bottled, and keg.
Interesting.
That's the only difference.
Awesome. That's why a lot of the porters that I get are sometimes on the shelf. Like I just had the Night Swim earlier today, or like the
Pasteurized
evening
beer.
porter, pasteurized beer. But then
Anything
like
you buy at Publix, whatever, is pasteurized, but anything you get out of a keg is not pasteurized.
Very
It's
good.
King Brewery Fresh.
Very good. Very good.
What's number 3 looking
This
like?
is the Sunny Honey, and I love the name, by the way. It rolls off the tongue really nice. I'm not sure exactly
I
what
don't
it's going to taste like.
typically like honey beers, but
Let's give it a shot. I mean,
It
we're in Land
depends.
O'Lakes. I'm sure there's a lot of honey out here.
it depends how much honey it tastes like.
Again, a very, very smooth, bitter tasting, very smooth, goes down real nice. I'm not sure how much honey I actually get out of that, but coming
So
after the APA, it's a little...
Of the 3, that's my favorite,
Well, there you go.
because it's got the hops that you need. It's got overly hoppy, and it's
Yeah.
not overly sweet. It doesn't taste like honey, but it tastes like a drinkable beer.
Would you say it made you feel sunny inside? A little bit?
Sure, yeah. Definitely tastes sunny. Sunny inside.
All right, now this is the B&M Porter. So we're gonna get...
B&M
It's got a really dark consistency. I know you guys at home can't see this right now, but a very dark. I mean, you can't see anything through it. It's just how you like your porters. So let's go ahead and give this a shot.
What do you think about the
man.
porter? So you just had a porter at the back of the house. What do you think about it now? Compare it, side by side.
The only thing that I would say is that the aftertaste lasts a little longer. But if this was on the shelf and I'm not putting Coppertail out, I would have a really tough time knowing if I've had the difference between the two. It's a little bit harsh on the aftertaste.
I can taste the difference because this tastes more like. So the Coppertail Night
feels
Swim.
thicker,
We
almost.
were drinking the Coppertail Night Swim before, and the Coppertail Night Swim has more of a smooth, kind of buttery, like aftertaste, where it
I
just kind
agree.
of coats your palate and leaves. This lets you, like, if you've had a swig of coffee or espresso, that's what I'm tasting. Yeah, it's coffee and espresso. So take that as you wish, because some people like that. You know what that is? That is a dry porter. That is a very dry porter, opposed to the Night Swim, which is not as dry. It leaves your mouth a little more fluid, a little more. The mouthfeel is completely different.
All right, so now we're going to go ahead and dive into the double chocolate stout. So from porter to a stout, We'll see what the difference is. I had a swig of the honey just to kind of refresh my
That honey
palate
was
a little
good,
bit.
man. That's probably my favorite one they had so far.
Well, it sounds like we found a winner there. So here's the double chocolate stout. And I'll be honest, I'm not really a fan of chocolate in my stout. I've just never, for whatever
That's
reason.
the best way to do stout, though. Drink a stout with chocolate. It blows your mind.
It probably is. It's just, I don't know. I just, something about having chocolate in my stout. I can't do.
I'm telling you, while you're drinking that, the best thing to do, folks out there, is to have a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of candy or something with your stout. And then at the same time, it just the chocolate malts just melt with that chocolate, and they just do such a good job. And it clears your palate, too, because stouts traditionally over porters are more dry.
It's actually
so this
very
one,
good.
This one should leave your mouth a little bit more dry feeling than the porter even did. Because the
Now-
porter is going to be a lot sweeter, a lot maltier than a stout will. Stouts are dark, but they're dry.
And you're definitely right on that. And I said that, and I'm not easily persuaded on my beer. There's some beers where I just do not like them. And I wish that I can remember the name of this beer. It comes in a white can. It's got chocolate on it and everything like that. This definitely beats the other chocolate stouts that I've had before. Like I said, I'm not really a fan. I could definitely get on board with that for dessert.
I still taste Hershey's chocolate.
Yeah,
Like,
it's going down
taste
my
now.
throat right now.
So compare that to
Nice
the porter.
little drip.
So see the porter, because like you said on one cast, I think it was 2 episodes ago or so, and you were like, oh yeah, how chocolatey, how creamy it is, whatever. That's not a creamy stout. It's not a really overbearing
No, it's
chocolate
really not
stout.
creamy at all.
But compared to that porter left me like coffee. This leaves me with chocolate. That is a true chocolate
I almost
stout.
want to blend the two together.
No, don't do that. You can't have a chocolate.
We'll
well, I
make
guess you could.
we'll make it a sexy baby. We'll make it a blended.
It's called like a bare knuckle when you do porter and stout or something like that. It's a combination. But all right, what do we got?
For coffee, going off those terms, you blend chocolate with that. You call it a sexy baby. That's the
What do we
term
got
there.
next?
Butternut brown. Now I am not a fan of browns at all.
I love browns. Newcastle's like
I mean,
drinkable
Maduro
beer.
maybe, but it's
It's not a brown because they're drinkable in any season typically.
Yeah. See, that just doesn't do anything for me. And I'm not knocking this beer. It's just I don't get anything out of it. I get, very good brown ale, not very dry. Probably goes good with some really good food. But
You're right. There's not a
Something
an
missing.
There's not a no. It's not missing. It's just not an overly. There's no right home factor.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'm gonna say. Oh, this is the greatest brown ever.
yeah.
It doesn't make me want to write home.
No,
honestly,
not on
but
that one. I mean, I kind of want to go back to the chocolate stout. even
That
though I don't
chocolate
like-
stout is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to choose our actual pints after we're done. We're talking about a pumpkin ale or pumpkin beer. What are you looking for it to compare to? I mean, there's so many different flavors and profiles out there. There's so many different beer options that we could, really compare this to. What do you want it to match up to? Good, bad, or equal?
Basically, like I said, I mean, I literally hate everything pumpkin that comes out between now and November except for beer. Because I can give a shit about your pumpkin latte and stuff like that. But what I really do enjoy is the Traveler, is the Pumpkin Head, is the, Cigar City makes a good one. Everybody makes a good pumpkin beer, and that's what this season is all about. The last episode we were talking about what makes a seasonal beer. Well, this is the kind of shit that makes it. It's getting a little cooler. It's a little bit easier to drink outside, have a fire, play some cornhole with your friends. I mean, it's the perfect time for drinking a beer outdoors, and that's exactly what I try to get out of any pumpkin beer. Now, the flavor. What am I trying to get for mouthfeel? What am I trying to get for the actual beer itself? I want something that tastes a lot like pumpkin pie. I know it sounds funny. I want it to taste like pumpkin pie. I want it to finish clean, and I don't want it to linger. If it can do those things, it's a great pumpkin beer to me. Do you have any expectations for this pumpkin beer for the very first time that we try their pumpkin pie from Craft Light Brewing?
Like you said, one of my two favorite pies, because the first one is apple, the second one is pumpkin pie.
It's my first favorite.
If we're going to have a pumpkin ale, it's got to go well with pumpkin pie and be right there on the flavor profile. So Donnie, I've taken the first of all of these.
Right.
Let's go ahead and have you do this one.
So I noticed something when you were sampling though. So like how I sample is you take a full mouthful and you swish it around with your tongue, and then you hold it for a minute, swallow half of it, switch around again, wait, and then swallow the rest.
Just kind of fondle it a little bit.
You gotta fondle. You gotta fondle the swish.
Okay.
As soon as you drink it, you smell it. That's it. That's it, man. It's delicious. That's a good pumpkin
Folks, at home. I am
still
eating
tastes like
pumpkin.
pumpkin
Not
pie.
only am I eating pumpkin pie,
drinking it and getting drunk.
I have whipped cream on top.
Right? That's
I
right.
have
It's creamy.
I have the crust.
Yeah, it's
there is crust
graham cracker.
in this.
graham cracker.
Nice, soft, delectable crust.
Oh, and then it's just clean. I mean, I don't know. This
no,
is
we're,
really,
I mean,
this is really
we've
good.
had a couple, and we had some rum too. But at the same time, we came here with open minds and open palates, and after all the beers that we just had, leading up to that, it is a beautiful thing. That pumpkin ale, I will never buy another pumpkin ale and not compare it to this beer.
Okay, Ryan, so just to wrap this up, we have 7 full beers in front of us. Rate them. Don't drink them. Rate them. Give me your top 3.
Top 3. All right, the first one for me is going to be the porter.
Really?
I loved it. I absolutely,
Okay.
I unequivocally loved it.
So we got 1 for the porter.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go with the chocolate stout, and my third one, the pumpkin pie.
So you've got
Jesus.
So you've got porter, stout, pie. Porter, stout, pie.
Yeah.
Okay. The way I go, first is pumpkin.
PPP right there.
Second is stout.
Oh wait, PSP.
Third is honey.
Third is honey.
Pumpkin, stout, honey. Fantastic. So
So I'm going to go with the B&M porter,
followed by.
followed by the chocolate stout, and then the pumpkin pie is my number
Really?
3. But those are my top 3. But out of those 3, the one that had the most impact, the one that had the most life-changing experience, was the pumpkin pie.
Very good.
Yeah.
So
that
for
was
that
it
for that
right
same
there.
for that same reason from Craft Life Brewing, what I like is the pumpkin pie first, the double chocolate stout second, followed immediately by the Sunny Honey from Craft Life
Holy
Brewing. Just
cow.
a fantastic beer.
Holy cow!
Good
I've
job,
never
guys.
tasted so much flavor.
Tim
in that
is the
pumpkin pie.
the main brewmaster here, and he is
Wow.
just doing a kick-ass job. So power on, Tim. We're going to get some interviews here from some other people, and we'll tune in back a little bit later.
And real quick, if this does not get bottled anytime soon, you have got to plan a trip down to Tampa Bay area. And this beer is ultimately awesome. I mean, great place, great atmosphere. Definitely what you're looking for.
So Ryan kind of hit it on the head. I mean, they're really onto something here, and I think that the fact that this place is so small and so undiscovered yet. I mean, they're only about 2 months old at this point, so there's a lot of room to grow. But man, they're putting out a really good product for a very small space. If you want to see the epitome of a craft brewery, this is it, my friends. I mean, this is really the place.
Definitely.
Very
And
good Craft Life Brewery.
Bring your growlers out to get some pumpkin ale.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews, and Geek News. Grab a beer with the guys and be sure to subscribe to catch additional content. Add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Chat with the guys on Twitter at Brewmasters Club and Facebook and online at www.brewmasters.club. Cheers!